I always questioned. It was really hard on me because I wanted to trust. But people don't know that when I started losing trust in the governor was not because he was 700 miles away. I had conversations on the phone with him where I remember one time he was yelling at me, and I said, because being the therapist that I am, and I'm calm, I said, Governor, typically when someone is yelling at you, it's because the other person said something that got you to yell. I said, I haven't spoken yet. What's the problem here? And he would get really upset with me, and he would, oh, you don't understand, and you got to do this, and you got to listen to me. So I already knew that I was talking to a person that was now willing to be open-minded. I mean, think about it. I've been in corporate America for 25 years. I've met all the top executives. I've met guys that would make Trump look like a nice guy. I've met people that, and I understand human behavior. He never gave me the impression that he was willing to listen. And when he wasn't willing to listen, then why would I continue to talk to him? But every time I talked to him, he tried to convince me to do something the way he wanted it to do. And I said, that might be right, but can I explain some of the things why and he wouldn't do that.
Was this particular situation talking about when the 2-week shutdown exactly?
Before that.
Okay.
I had already started having these discussions with him, and I would say, one of the things I always asked him for. So I was very reasonable, and the community always thought I was this guy standing up in front of the train, and it doesn't matter, and I don't care, I'm going to fight you. It wasn't like that. I'm a collaborator. I try to work with people. And so I said, just do me a favor, Governor. Just do one favor. Give me 15 days between every one of your decisions. If we're going to go from 25 to 50%, give me 15 days. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to do anything. We're a border city. It's different. You can justify it with Austin and all them, that you could say, well, I'm not going to do it for you because... And so that's all I asked, 15 days. If you're going to go from 25 to 50, give me 15 days. If you're going to do X, the masking, whatever, that one I'll do it faster. But anything, what do you want us to unmask, give me 15 days. That's all I'm asking. I said, because we were like 30 days difference. The first time that someone actually got the virus here, it had already happened, 3-4 weeks before in the other part of Texas. And then when we had the first death, we were like a month away. So I said, look, we're like 30 days from everything that happens with you. So when you make a decision, you're making a decision based on what happened in Austin. But you have to remember that we're 30 days behind you. And so if you give me 30 days, I think it would be a good political move, and it would help. It would be very good for everyone. Never wanted to. He gave me 5 days. And here's where I begin to understand how irrational he was and why I make the decisions that I make. I asked him for 15 days. He gave me 5. And then he didn't admit that I had asked for a buffer. What he said, I'm giving you 5 because your numbers are really high in the hospital. And it wasn't true. Our numbers were not high at our hospital. We were at about 10%, and he wanted, if we hit 15% capacity of COVID, then we would do something. So I started seeing how irrational he was. And think about it. I think we should, as a community, feel very good because he's made some very bad decisions. For example, what happened with the energy crisis? He knew about it, and what does he do? He's a reactor, not a proactive person. So me understanding and having worked with a lot of executives and how they think and how they work, I lost all trust. I lost all trust because he was irrational. He didn't listen. And he believed San Antonio, Dallas, and Fort Worth area was more important than El Paso. And there's no doubt that's where he gets his votes. And so from that very point, I decided, I'm not capable or I'm not willing to deal with a person who's not willing to listen. And so I was not going to start, trying to negotiate. I sent him letters. He never responded. I talked a lot through his chief of staff, Mr. Sines. I did a lot before the community saw that I put the line in the sand.
You think his top priority was opening business? What was it? Getting votes, making sure that he is again getting, like you said, the votes from those important cities. Again, in your case, you're describing like your main motive was saving lives, basically.
Yep.
You think his was different?
Yeah, it's this party line. Yeah, he has to align with his party, because if he wants to win as a governor and wants to one day be a president of the United States, he had to align with his party. And the Republicans, the radical part of the Republicans, not all. We have some amazing Republicans here that are very level-headed, that are not part of that fanaticism, that radical kind of. And so he was trying to align, and it's difficult when you're looking at your community, born and raised here in El Paso, the youngest of 9, coming from the kind of political history that I had. You're going to be very protective, but if somebody's going to give you the right information and is moving in the right direction, I mean, I'd be the first to jump on it. I'd be the first. And you saw how with the mayor, with Mayor Margo, I tried my best. I mean, they kept saying, wow, they get along, they talk to each other. I tried my best to do that. As soon as he decided that listening to the governor was more important, then I changed my direction with him. And I said to him, you do whatever you can do to make the governor help El Paso, and I'll do what I need to do in the way I do things. So you stick to your strategy as long as it's helping to El Paso, and let me stick to my strategy.
Even though it was the opposite strategy?
Yeah, but maybe he could get something I couldn't get. Maybe he could get more people to come from healthcare workers or whatever it was that he was able to do. But, at the end of the day, and I told him, I said, I thank you because you never, in one of the discussions, I said, I'm going to ask you for a favor, Governor. Please, because of our relationship, do not take it out on anything for El Paso. And he said, are you serious? You think I would ever do that? I said, hey, cuentas claras, amistades largas. Entonces, and he said he wouldn't. And I never saw one evidence of him doing that, because it doesn't happen like that. People think that he's going to get mad at me and it's going to hurt El Paso. There's no way. It takes legislation. It takes a lot of different things politically. It'd be a suicide for him, because they need to do things in a very distasteful way sometimes, but in a very subtle way. And I could tell you, we got the most healthcare workers, we got the testing, we've gotten the vaccination, everything we've ever wanted. So there's never been a withdrawal of anything in our community because the governor was upset at us or because he didn't believe in us. And I would never push that envelope. I would never push that envelope. And plus, I would have to do something illegal. For example, a lot of people don't realize that they say, pues, ¿dónde está Samaniego? Lately, how come he's not getting out there? Because once it goes to the appeals court and there's a decisions on the appeal, I can no longer challenge him, because then it would be contempt of court.